Hey folks, Christian Dean Stove and Spa here. Today we are going to be talking about this guy right here, 44 Elite wood burning fireplace from Fireplace Xtrodinair. Alright folks, so today we're going to be talking about the 44 Elite wood burning fireplace from Fireplace Xtrodinair. It is a 4.2 cubic foot firebox. It takes up to a 32-inch log, rated for up to 12-hour burn times, and can heat up to 3,000 square feet. Couple ways that this unit accomplishes that. Number one, this is not your basic zero clearance fireplace. This is a wood stove that is built into the wall of your home. So if you don't have an existing fireplace, you're thinking a spot in the house where heating the home would be efficient from that location, wood stove is always an option. A freestanding wood stove, powerful heat, durable. Some people want the look of a fireplace, and the 44 Elite gives you the best of both worlds. It creates a focal point in your home where you now have a fireplace, a place where people will gather inside the home, but you have a furnace, built into the wall of your home that has aesthetic value still. When it comes to the installation of this fireplace, a air-cooled chimney is used. This air-cooled chimney is an 8-inch exhaust with a 12-inch outer diameter. Also, when installing this unit, cooling vents are used. On top of the unit, there's 2 ports for cooling vents that will be dumped outside. What those cooling vents do is they pull in outside air to circulate around the unit, keep it cool so that it doesn't affect the framing, as well as cool the chimney. With this, using an air-cooled chimney versus a Class A chimney, a packed insulated pipe, which a lot of fireplaces and all wood stoves use, a lot less expensive too. You're not paying $300 for a 4-foot section of this pipe either. So a definite plus side for the 44 Elite and a smaller counterpart, the 36 Elite, in that regard. The fan itself, right? So you have an external fan. If you're looking at the framing specs for this unit, 50 inches wide is going to be your rough opening for that framing. That does not include the fan itself. So if you were planning on putting the external fan next to the fireplace, you'd want to accommodate for that within your framing, 64, 65 inches to give you some flex there. So when it comes to the installation of the 44 Elite, as well as its smaller counterpart, the 36 Elite, a couple different things going on there. So you have your exhaust, your chimney. The Elite models use an air-cooled chimney as opposed to a Class A packed insulated chimney. The reason they do that is there's also cooling vents that go off the top of the unit, 2 ports on top of the unit, those cooling vents duct out. Those cooling ducts are pulling outside air to cool down the chimney, hence the name air-cooled chimney. So your piping is staying cooler. It's an 8-inch exhaust with a 12-inch outer diameter, has a 2-inch clearance to combustibles, but that air-cooled chimney, where the cooling vents are pulling that air in, that is allowing that chimney to stay cool, so you still have those minimal clearances when it comes to a combustible. The fan for this unit, external fan, not built into the unit. They exclude the fan from the construction so you can face mount it on the outside of the house. That fan is going to pull outside air, heat itself up around the unit, and then pump that fresh hot air into the house, pushing out the old stale air at the same time. That external fan, though, almost entirely silent. When I turn this up like that, I am now pumping 388, almost 400 cubic feet of air per minute into the house. Fresh, hot air. Relatively silent. You cannot hear it compared to other models where that fan is built into the unit. Definitely going to be more audible. One of the biggest complaints that we have in the hearth industry is how loud the fan. If you're sitting in your living room and the unit's running, the audibleness of a fan, while it's doing its job, it's heating the house efficiently, it's distributing the heat more evenly. If you don't want to have your TV volume on a level 50, this is going to move more than twice the amount of air most fireplaces is going to move when it comes to the convection air, and you barely hear the fan at all. So another really cool feature about the 44 Elite. One of the most unique features about this particular model, though, is they utilize what's called positive pressure. Positive pressure is utilized through the convection as well as the combustion of this unit. What I mean by that is there is a fan on the outside of the unit positioned on the exterior of your home, and that is pulling outside air, fresh air from outside. It's heating that air up and it's pumping it into your house. On the flip side of that, most wood burning units utilize what's called negative pressure, where the fan or the fire is drawing air from inside the house, existing air from inside your home, and it circulates that around the unit, heats it up, and then exchanges it back out for the cold air that it's replacing. The 44 Elite though is taking, again, fresh, hot air and pumping it into your home. In all the years I've been doing this, I never really thought about it, but the other day we were having a meeting and we started thinking, what are some other unique features about this? And when we really got down to it, we realized that in a 3,000 square foot home, the 400 CFM blower the 44 Elite uses is exchanging every cubic foot of air in that home once every hour. That's 24 times a day. Let me say that again. In a 3,000 square foot home, the 44 Elite, while it's heating that home, is exchanging all of the air in that house once an hour. Unbelievable. Folks, in these modern times and in the current climate that we're all living in together, do something for the health of your family as well as your wallet. Never mind the fact that a unit like this is going to literally pay for itself in 3 or 4 years, based on the money you're going to save on either your oil or your electric heat. Never mind that. The fact that you're introducing fresh air and you're exchanging all of the stale air that we breathe in for weeks at a time in a house, you're exchanging that at least 20 times a day is proof enough that a unit like this is really the next step in terms of the evolution of wood burning fireplaces. So what we're going to be going over today is basic operation, maintenance, and to start, how to get it started. So first thing you want to make sure of, this guy right here, your damper bypass. This opens and closes your flue. So when you're first getting this fire started, you want to pull this out. That'll slide a plate open, opens up the chimney, allows you to get a draft established easier. You're not working around the baffle system in order to get that draft established. So definitely want to make sure your damper bypass is pulled out before you start the fire. Second part is this slider right here. This is your air control. So you want this slide all the way to your left. That will allow you for maximum airflow coming into the firebox, allows you to get the fire started faster as well. Door, so double door on the 44 Elite, single door option on the 36 Elite, its smaller counterpart. 44 Elite's always going to have double doors. So your right door, turn it counterclockwise, both doors open up. I have this preloaded with some kindling and newspaper. The unit itself actually comes with a fire starter, a lightning nugget. Very cool, burns for about 15 minutes, so we'll get your kindling started. Today we're using some basic newspaper, not the glossy stuff, just traditional newspaper. So we'll get this going. And when I'm getting the kindling going, I'm going to leave the doors slightly ajar to allow more airflow to come in. Another thing I recommend is when the unit is burning, these handles on the artisan door actually lift up and off. They'll get hot, so I would recommend popping those off. We like to keep them on a little slot in the stone there. Alright folks, so we have got our kindling lit and now we have some cordwood in there that's starting to catch. What we're going to do during this process is we're going to leave our damper bypass open. We're going to leave our air control slid over to the left. When I close the door, it engages a switch for the fan. So when the fan heats up, it uses a snap disc or a thermo switch. When it heats up to a certain temperature, that fan will automatically turn on. The door has to be closed and that switch on the door has to be engaged for the fan to turn on. From the time I light the fire to the time that blower turns on, depending on outdoor temperatures, usually about 20 to 30 minutes in terms of that convection fan turning on. All right, folks, so our fan has engaged. It is located right here. It's on a variable dial. Turning it clockwise will increase the intensity and strength of that fan speed. For this application, I'm going to turn it down as low as possible. Damper bypass is closed now. I like to wait until the fan turns on. The model will come with a digital readout that tells you your catalyst temperature. Manufacturer recommends we keep that around 500, at least 500 degrees before we close that damper down. I like to run it until the fan turns on. At that time, you can start adjusting your air. So the more you slide that over to the right, it's going to minimize your combustion air coming in. It's going to give you that nice, slow, overnight burn. So in regard to maintenance, what you're going to be doing on a daily, weekly basis, scooping out some ash, pretty much. We like to leave 1 inch to 2 inches of ash in the firebox at all times. That allows for that insulatory factor, so your coals will be held longer. It'll retain temperatures better. I don't recommend cleaning all the ash out, so you want to leave 1 inch to 2 inches in there at all times. The coals, you can leave those in there. There's BTUs left in that. Those will continue to burn down. The light, fluffy, talcum powdery ash, that's the stuff that there's no BTUs left in that, so that can come out pretty much at any time. And in regard to annual maintenance, I do recommend having a professional do your annual maintenance. Heat Zone Tech would be our #1 choice for that service. What would be done during that service? Obviously, a chimney sweep. The chimney stack itself would be cleaned. Catalyst on top of the baffle. When you close that damper bypass, that catalyst is acting like a filter, so your exhaust flows through that before it goes up the flue. We want to make sure that that catalyst is clean, the exhaust can pass through it freely, so that would be something that we would be maintaining annually as well. And then you want to take a look at the fan too. So the fan generally is going to be mounted on the outside wall of the house. There's a louver plate over that. We would take that louver off. There's a filter behind that, just a basic inspection to make sure everything's looking good there as well. Well, folks, Travis Industries has outdone themselves yet again. The 44 Elite Fireplace, not only 100% American made, but seriously the best of the best when it comes to wood burning. Be sure to stop in here at Dean Stove and Spa, Travis Industries, leader on the East Coast for sales, service, and installation. A one-stop shop here at Dean Stove and Spa. Check this fireplace out in person. We have it burning here in our showroom in Plantsville, as well as our showroom in New Hartford. So wherever you are, be sure to stop into one of Dean Stove and Spa's locations and see this fireplace in person, because honestly, seeing is believing. Have a great day, folks.